I was 25, standing in the middle of my parents' kitchen, clutching my 4-year-old daughter Lily in my arms. Her skin was burning hot against my chest, her breaths shallow and fast. Every gasp felt like a dagger to my ribs. She needed medicine, maybe a doctor. Something more than the lukewarm water and prayers I had been offering for hours. "Please," I begged, my voice cracking. "She needs help. Just a bottle of cough syrup or anything for the fever. Please, she's all I have." Dad sat at the head of the table, beer bottle in one hand, newspaper in the other, like my desperation was background noise. He didn't even glance up when he muttered, "Medicine costs money. We're not wasting it on her." Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. My heart squeezed. "She's sick," I pleaded, rocking Lily gently as her small fingers clutched at my shirt. "She could get worse. Please, just a few dollars." That's when Mom cut in, her lips curling into a cruel smile. She swirled the wine in her glass like this was all entertainment. "Better she dies now than later. One less parasite sucking food out of our fridge. God knows you're already a burden. Why should we feed another leech?" The words hit me harder than any slap. Lily whimpered weakly, her head pressing into my shoulder, and I held her tighter. "She's not a parasite," I whispered. "She's my daughter." Dad finally looked up, his eyes narrowing with disgust. "Exactly. She's yours. You made her. You feed her. You fix her. Don't expect us to pay for your mistakes." Mom leaned back in her chair, a smirk playing at her lips. "Besides, maybe it'll teach you something. Let her cry. Let her gasp. Maybe you'll finally understand you don't deserve to be a mother." I staggered back, my legs shaking, the heat of Lily's fever making her body limp in my arms. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to break every glass in that kitchen, but I couldn't. Not with Lily clinging to me, not when she needed me to be strong. Instead, I turned and carried her down the hall, their laughter following me like knives in the dark. In my room, I laid her down gently on the bed. Her tiny chest rose and fell in quick, shallow movements. Her eyes fluttered open just enough to whisper, "Mommy." "I'm here," I whispered back, stroking her damp hair. "I'm not leaving you." I pressed a cool cloth to her forehead, humming softly through the tears burning my throat. I thought of every birthday my parents had ignored, every slap they'd justified, every cruel name they'd thrown at me. And now, when my child needed them, they smirked and called her trash. I sat there all night, rocking back and forth, praying Lily would make it through until morning. Every cry she made was met with muffled laughter from the living room. I heard Mom's voice drift down the hall. "Listen to her wheeze. Sounds just like her mother, weak and useless." Dad's chuckle followed. "Parasites always choke in the end." I bit down on my lip until it bled, staring at the wall, every nerve in me burning. They thought I was weak. They thought I would break. But with every cruel word, every smirk, every refusal, something inside me shifted. They refused to buy medicine for my daughter? Fine. I would find another way, and when I did, I'd make sure they understood one thing. I might have been their trash, but Lily was my pride, and no one, especially not them, was going to take her from me. The morning sunlight crept through the blinds like a cruel reminder that the night hadn't changed anything. Lily's fever hadn't broken. Her forehead was still burning, her lips dry, her little breaths uneven. She opened her eyes for a moment, looked at me with a weak smile, and whispered, "Mommy, don't cry." I swallowed hard, forcing my tears down where she couldn't see them. "I'm not crying, baby. I'm here. I'm strong for you." But inside, I was crumbling. I tiptoed into the kitchen, clutching the last few coins I had managed to scrape together from the bottom of my purse. "I'll walk to the pharmacy," I said quietly, desperate. "This should be enough for something, even if it's small." Dad snorted without looking up from his newspaper. "That'll buy you gum, not medicine. Forget it." Mom didn't even glance at me, just kept sipping her coffee. "If you can't afford your own kid, you shouldn't have had her. Not our problem. Better she chokes now than eat our money later." The words slammed into me like bricks. I clenched the coins in my fist until the edges dug into my skin. "You're her grandparents," I said, my voice trembling but firm. "Don't you feel anything watching her suffer?" Mom finally turned, her eyes ice cold. "I feel relief knowing the parasite might finally be gone." Dad folded his paper and leaned back, smirking. "You've always been weak. Now you've made another weak thing. Don't come begging us when nature does its job." Their cruelty should have broken me, but as I stood there, coins cutting into my palm, something inside me hardened instead. I turned without a word, walked back into my room, and shut the door. Lily stirred, coughed, and whispered for water. I held her, humming softly, but in my head, gears were turning. They thought starving me of medicine would make me dependent, desperate. They thought watching my child gasp would remind me of my place under their boots. But what they didn't realize was this: desperation can make a person crumble, or it can make them dangerous. I spent the next few days quietly observing them, memorizing their routines. Dad's pride lived in his job at the auto shop, his respectable position he bragged about to neighbors. Mom's pride lived in her bridge club, her spotless kitchen, her constant need to appear as the perfect hostess. They mocked me behind closed doors, but to the outside world, they were saints. They couldn't afford cracks in that image, and I was going to tear the mask wide open. One evening, while Mom polished her wine glasses, she muttered to Dad, "People keep asking why she still lives here. I told them she's ungrateful and lazy." They nodded, of course. Everyone knows she's trash. Dad chuckled, pouring another drink. "When the kid finally croaks, we'll be rid of them both." Lily coughed in the bedroom, the sound echoing through the hall. They didn't even flinch. They just kept drinking. That was the moment I knew. They wanted to call her a parasite? They wanted to smirk while she gasped? Fine. I'd let them choke on their own words. And when the time came, I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't scream. I'd let their perfect little image rot in the same way they let my daughter suffer. And I would be the one holding the mirror when the world finally saw who they really were. The chance came faster than I expected. A week later, the town held a small neighborhood fundraiser at the community center. Families brought dishes, local businesses donated prizes, and Dad strutted in like he owned the place. He wore his work shirt with the company logo, bragging to anyone who'd listen. "I'm the one who keeps this town moving," he said loudly, slapping backs. Mom followed close, her bridge club friends circling, each one dazzled by her fake smile. And Jessica, my golden sister, stood nearby, showing off her new internship badge, my parents glowing every time someone congratulated her. I slipped into the back of the hall with Lily's tiny hand in mine. Her fever had finally eased thanks to a kind neighbor who bought me medicine after noticing her pale face. My parents didn't know that. They thought she was still gasping in bed, still weak and helpless. That was the key. Their lies worked as long as no one else saw the truth. When the fundraiser reached its peak, Dad marched up to the microphone, just like at Jessica's graduation. He cleared his throat, tapping it proudly. "I want to thank everyone for coming. Families like ours prove what hard work and pride can build. My daughter, Jessica, our shining star, represents everything we value." Applause filled the room. Mom beamed. Jessica waved. Then I stepped forward. "Funny," I said, my voice steady, cutting through the noise, "because this is also the family that refused to buy cough syrup for a sick 4-year-old, said she wasn't worth the money, said better she die than feed a parasite." Gasps rippled across the hall. Dad's smile collapsed. Mom's wine glass froze in midair. People turned, whispering, their eyes darting between me and my parents. I didn't stop. While they bragged about Jessica's pride, my daughter Lily was burning with fever in the next room. I begged them for help. Do you know what my mother said? I looked straight at Mom. She said, "Better she dies, one less parasite to feed." Mom lurched forward, voice shrill. "Lies! She's making it up!" But then Lily coughed softly beside me. Her small hand tugged my sleeve, and she whispered, loud enough for the microphone to catch, "Grandma said I was trash." The hall went dead silent. Every face turned on my parents. Shock, disgust. People my mom tried to impress recoiled from her. Dad's boss, who had been clapping seconds earlier, stood and glared. "You mocked a child gasping for breath?" he snapped. "And you stand here preaching pride?" Dad stammered, his face purple, sweat beading on his forehead. "She's exaggerating. It was a joke." "No one's laughing," a neighbor cut in, folding her arms. Others nodded, their faces hard. Mom dropped her glass. It shattered across the floor. She bent to pick it up, hands shaking, but her bridge club friends stepped back, disgusted. One muttered, "Monster." Jessica's smile cracked, her friends whispering, phones already out. I saw the glow of recording screens capturing every second. I took Lily's hand, my voice calm, final. "You wanted to smirk while she gasped? Now the whole town can smirk while you choke on your own shame." We turned and walked toward the doors. Behind us, chaos exploded, Dad shouting, Mom begging, Jessica crying as whispers filled the hall, but no one clapped for them, no one smiled. For once, they weren't the family of pride. They were exactly what they'd called me and my daughter. Trash. And this time, everyone could see it. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.